Well, hello there everybody. Welcome to peak Seattle weather. Yeah, it's sprinkling just a little bit, but I wanted to make a little video just as I walk the dog. Oh, there she is. It is wet outside, but you know, as I said, we're used to it. We're in Seattle. I wanted to make this video just as I walked and talk a little bit about investing strategy. Now, as you know, this is a channel for day trading, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. The backstory of how I decided to actually begin day trading instead of investing. Of course, I still have a little portion of my net worth right now in long-term investments, such as VTI and VOOO. I have a mix of my assets in those ETFs. But mainly, the last year really shook me up. 2021 and 2022, they really were pretty brutal markets. Now, I can speak for myself. I'm 22 years old, and learning investing and picking, what's going to be a winner and what's going to be a loser. Deciding early on, I don't really want to pick companies and say, oh, GE is going to perform well in the long run, right? I want to buy an index and forget it. And I bought a few companies on speculation last year. Companies like Shift Technologies, companies like Tattooed Chef for a little while, Corsair Gaming. These kind of small cap companies that aren't profitable. And all that to say, I didn't really understand how bad a stock market recession was going to be, right? I said, okay, I kind of see the signs, the Fed's tightening up on their monetary system, and but it'll be mostly fine. It's okay that I've invested some portion of my money, somewhat substantial portion of my money, into a company such as Shift Technologies that at the time was unprofitable, meaning that they're a new company, new to the market, and they've not, hyper growth company, right? Tech company. It's an app where you can purchase a car from your phone, they drive it to you. I thought, what a great service that would be. And it is a cool service, cool company. But being unprofitable, a lot of their capital was based on seed rounds, meaning, okay, I'm not profitable yet, so, in 2 years when the cash runs out, I'm going to be relying on an angel investor, on a startup venture capitalist to inject more capital into my business model, because, the early stages of a startup we just got to grow. We've got to grow a customer base, and then we're going to focus on gaining profitability later on. And sometimes these companies take, 10 years to become profitable, which is totally fine. But when you're in a unique situation, such as a Fed tightening season, where the Fed is restricting credit, the Fed is making it more expensive to borrow money and to lend it out. Well, then the situation gets a little hairy, where, there are less investors. One, the investors that are out there can't invest as much money as they usually could have. So you get into this strange situation, if you have 100 of these companies, okay, maybe only 90 of them can be funded now. Maybe only 80 of them can be funded now. So it's a pretty dangerous situation for myself. It's kind of extremely like gambling and hoping like, okay, it's going to be one of those companies that makes it, even though the whole, lending system is going against this company right now. Anyway, so that was my experience in trying to hold long term, and I really got destroyed. But I'm not mad about it, because it's a lesson. You can't think of failures as failures. You have to say, What can I learn from that? What can I do better next time? See, if I had never gone through that experience, I wouldn't know, the firsthand effect of what a small cap, non-profitable company goes through when the Fed is in a tightening season. I was keeping up with their earnings reports and all that good stuff. But anyway, next topic. So the reason I started trying to day trade instead of long-term invest, and I said that I had a lot of money in, the broad market index as well, which did go down. 10, 15% in 2022, kind of a hammer. But, you can get sworn off of day trading really quickly, trading of any means, by saying, oh, that's just gambling. Or, I hear that 99% of traders don't make a profit in the long run, right? So this really deterred me, and this became a limiting belief that I had in my mind, saying, oh, well, it would be impossible for me to become a profitable trader because 99% of people aren't profitable. And I didn't even consider that, okay, I can devote myself to learning, gaining skill set, and gaining the ability to be able to be that 1% profitable trader, to gain the amount of knowledge needed, to actually be able to fulfill that goal of being a 1% trader. Not like 1% in any kind of fiscal means, but just being 1% in the skill level, right? If you look around at nature, the amount of trees in the dense forest that get the sunlight, that grow to the tallest, the amount of animals that succeed, like bunnies that succeed and live out here in the harsh conditions with predators and, the city nearby, and with anything in life, with the amount of people that succeed in any given profession, with the amount of doctors, professional doctors that are really top of their profession. It's the Parita Principle, meaning, otherwise known as the 20-80 rule, where, 20% of the effort gets 80% of the results, or 20% of the participants in the system get 80% of the results. So just like trees in a forest, there are a lot of trees in the forest, but only 20% of them can really grow to the top because maybe they've had some kind of, enhanced benefit, genetic benefit, just a wild genetic mutation, giving them a little bit of an evolutionary edge, or, maybe they just were lucky enough to get sunlight in the beginning, and that beginning momentum propelled them to being, a top earner in the forest in terms of sunlight. I don't know where the metaphor is going. That's basically it. It's an observable phenomena that can happen everywhere in nature, and it does happen everywhere in nature. So it's very interesting when we think about, even economic situations, like, oh, everyone should, like, there should be no 1% or anything like that, because Parita Principle is kind of a natural phenomenon, and it just is going to happen. So anyway, it's not a video about creating regulation or anything like that, but I'm just talking about, that's kind of what I think about is the Parita Principle all the time. So, try to be that 20% that garners 80%. And the same thing of, like, try to do the amount of work necessary to be in that 20%. So anyway, that's me defeating my limiting belief. It took me a long time, it took me a few years, and my portfolio suffered. Probably down 35% last year in my whole portfolio. So I'm feeling like, wow, this is crazy. All the gains of, like, the past few years I've been investing, like, are gone. And that just happens. Traditionally you don't want to sell. You had a lot of people early 2008 say, oh my retirement, it just went down 40%. I got to pull out. And that's obviously the wrong move, because what comes down comes back up. And in the history of the US stock market, it's always come back up. But what I wanted to do is say, okay, I'll take that money and I'll begin learning how to day trade. And I did paper trading first, you know. I didn't just like jump into it. I tried a little like paper trading, getting myself comfortable, feeling like I was getting a little bit better. And that brings us to today, where, you know, I'm walking around in the rain. It's Seattle weather. I just finished up another, you know, kind of video on here for the YouTube channel. And I'm just reflecting on how I started investing, how I started day trading instead of investing, where I still invest, you know, obviously. You've got to invest for the future. If you don't invest in your future, if you don't put money away for future you, you're literally, you know, cutting yourself at the knees right there. You're debilitating yourself, your future self. So you've got to invest for the future. But turning it to having a portion of my capital set aside for day trading, you know, removing that limiting belief and saying, I can do it. I actually can be, you know, the 1% in the skill set that makes money. And I don't even know if that's true. If you look at it fundamentally, I mean, John Bogle, the inventor of the index funds, started Vanguard, says, you know, trading is a zero-sum game, which means that there's, you know, if there's $100 in the stock market and someone takes $1 out of it, there's, you know, it's not like there's still $100 in the market. That means someone else lost $1. So, you know, not everyone can win. Obviously, as it shows, not everyone can win because, you know, money isn't invented like in the market, just like haphazardly. But my strategy, I'm really, you know, I've seen a rise in fund investments. People will just say, and it's good to say, okay, just buy the index. I'm just gonna buy the whole NASDAQ here. I'm just gonna buy the whole S&P 500 here. Because you're diversifying risk. But at the same point, you're also not focusing on what companies you're buying into. If, say, Tesla gets added to the S&P 500, well, I don't really care. Because I'm just gonna be investing into the S&P 500. I don't care what companies are in there. And there's, you know, a lot of research kind of pointing to, hey, that's pretty bad. Companies are actually receiving really high valuations because people are just investing into indices instead of companies. So I see a profitable ability to scalp money away from that venture because there's so much money in index funds, and that's what I focus on. I day trade stock market indices. So a little fun here. Anyway, that's about it for today's video. You know, thinking about if you're gonna try something, you know, really put your whole self into it and uncover, you know, what it is that you really want to do. You know, if you've been long-term investing and you've said to yourself, no, you know, day trading sounds fun, but come on, no one makes money out of it. Well, actually, like, you know, put your nose to the grindstone and try to actually figure it out. Don't just like stop when you have that limiting belief. And that's the moral. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the little video. I hope you're having a good day. Hopefully it's not too rainy where you are. Comment below where you're watching from. It'd be fun to find out. If you're from Seattle or somewhere else, that's cool. Well, hope you're having a good one. All right, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Hit that notification bell because I'm making videos constantly, keeping you guys updated with the day trading journey. Thanks for learning along with me. Have a good one.